Hello, and welcome to this first lecture of this new section on advertising campaigns planning in this course on excellence in digital marketing. So, in this new module, we will give you some in depth understanding of how to plan all web, all on the internet, advertising campaigns like SEO, SEM, database marketing, email, social media, display advertising campaigns to gain excellence in digital marketing. And in this particular lecture, we will share with you the overall process of planning advertising campaigns. So, any thoughts on how would you plan the advertising campaigns on digital media that you we mentioned in the last slide? Any thoughts? See, the process is what you see here on your screen now. You need to start by setting the objective. What is it that you want to achieve as a result of doing this advertising on the digital platforms? Be it email marketing, be it social media, be it SESOM. So what you need to do is to first set the objectives, and we will talk about how can you set the objectives. The first is to set the objective. What is that you want to achieve? Second would be having done the setting the objective, you need to identify the audience. What kind of target customers or what kind of audience do you want to reach and achieve those objectives? So that would be the second step. The third, once having set these two things, having set the objectives and set identified the audience, you need to then craft the message. What message do you want to send? And this should be based on your value proposition or brand positioning. But what is the message that you want to send? You need to craft a couple of messages. And based on the message, then the next step would be to decide the medium. If your message is a video, then you may have to choose one media. If it was only a plain text with an image, you may be able to do with another media. So you decide the media based on what media is suitable for what kind of messages. And again, we will talk about how do you do in the lectures a little more later. The fifth stage will be developing the creative approach in terms of what kind of executions of the message that you want to send. So multiple execution, because you will have to run this as a campaign. You will not stop at sending one message. So you will have one message, but you will have many creative executions of that. So you then need to then get into implementation by developing creative execution and use those media that you identified to send these messages. And the lastly, to start measuring the performance versus the objective that you had set. How well are you doing versus the objective? And then decide whether to do more, put more resources on this, or need to change any of the things like the audience, the message, the media, and or the creative approach. So there it becomes a kind of a continuous improvement cycle. So having looked at the overall process of how do you advertise on digital media, how can you run the campaigns, what do we do next? In the next lecture, we will talk about how can we go about setting the objectives. What are the kind of objectives that we can set, and how would you go about choosing among the various objectives that you would have in front of you for deciding on the advertising that you need to run. So thank you so much for watching this first lecture on advertising campaign planning. I hope you continue beginning to learn something new again in this lecture. You continue to enjoy, and I do look forward to see you again in the next lecture.